Hey, what's up everybody? Matt Modi here with OddsJam, and in this video, what I'm going to be giving out is my anytime touchdown score favorite bets for Thursday night football. Recording this on Wednesday, so for me it's for tomorrow, but depending on when you're watching it, could be for tonight. And what you see specifically on the screen here is just the OddsJam line shopping tool giving you the best odds from every sportsbook. So if you go to oddsjam.com, you go to NFL, you click the game that you're looking for, and then you see all the markets up here. You can do this for completely free. You can line shop. It just pulls up odds for every book. You can also search for it. If I move my camera here, you see a little search function here. You just search for the game. So like I type in Eagles, searches for the Eagles Texans right here as well. But I already have it up. And so normally when I do these videos, I give out two of my favorite bets for each team. Normally, the games that I preview don't have like 14-point spreads. I think last time I checked, Eagles were 13.5 or 14-point favorites, depending on where you look. And what I will say is I've done a betting preview for this game already. So if you want to know my thoughts and just like general thoughts on the game itself, like main markets, money line, point spread total, and just analysis on the X's and O's of the game, make sure to check that out. In this one, specifically going to be talking about anytime touchdown scores. And okay, so anyways, like I said, I normally give out I normally give out two for each team. But because this game is such a blowout, has such blowout potential, I'm actually going to give out my three favorite for the Eagles and then only one for the Texans. And then I'm going to give out one dart throw as well. So my three favorite for the Eagles, one favorite for the Texans, one dart throw, 5 total, 4 that I actually like. And we'll start with the Texans first because we've got to give them their due. And this one's kind of chalky. But give me Damien Pierce. Even if the Texans are losing, they're probably going to run the ball a ton. And he's actually, he's a very good running back. And if there's any hope that the Texans have of doing anything on offense in this game, their big run stuffer, Jordan Davis, the Eagles, Jordan Davis, defensive tackle, he's out for this game. He's out for the foreseeable future. He does a great job stopping the run. That's kind of why they got him. It's just like a big body to plug up the middle. So maybe they'll have success with it's his first game missed of the year, Jordan Davis. So plus 160 odds, I think is pretty good value on PointsBet. So I would like to put half a unit risked on this one. We'll see how much PointsBet actually accepts. But for those of you at home, whatever half a unit is for you is what I would recommend putting on Damien Pierce anytime touchdown score. So I can get close. I can get 46.87 on this one. So let me go back to Damien Pierce. But regardless, for those of you at home, this should be a half unit play. And so that's the first one. That's the first one and the only one for the Texans. Now to start with the Eagles. So I'll go with the two players most likely to score on the Eagles. And these are both incredibly chalk, but they're chalk for a reason. The first one is Jalen Hertz. He has a ton of rushing touchdowns this year. He didn't have one last game against the Steelers, but that's an outlier. Normally he rushes in. If the Eagles get the ball even close to the goal line, they're either going to do a QB sneak at the 1, or they're going to do some sort of read option, and Jalen Hertz likes to keep it. He's a great runner. He does a great job getting in. It's also a really good price. Look at what Tipico's giving you at this play, and look at the rest of the books. So the whole point of using OddsJam to line shop is to make sure that you're getting the best odds and also to look for value. So the minus 105 for Jalen Hertz at Tipico is a pretty good line because no other book, the closest, is minus 116. So if you're just thinking about this, if I risked $105, I would profit 100 on this Jalen Hertz one. Every other book, I'd have to risk 130 to profit 100. I have to risk 116 to profit 100. I have to, whatever, the odds, minus 120, minus 125. It's the same exact bet, but you're risking more money for the same exact payout if you're not line shopping. So this is a pretty good line, the Jalen Hertz at minus 105. So I would like to put half a unit on this one as well. But Tipico has me limited. They probably won't even let me get $7.50 on this one. Not $70.50, I wish. They normally won't even let me get more than like $10 on something, so we'll see. So $7.50 is what I could get on this one. But for those of you at home, this should be half of a unit play. So Jalen Hertz. The next one, and he's probably my favorite bet on the Eagles, is Miles Sanders. The Texans have the worst run defense in the entire NFL, literally the worst, according to DVOA, 32nd. Last week, and this I just think is ridiculous. So last week they're playing against the Titans. Malik Willis' first start in the entire NFL. And the Texans did nothing to stop the run. Nothing. They let Derrick Henry run for 25 yards for 25 times for 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. They didn't even attempt to try and make Malik Willis beat them through the air. It was just a befuddling defensive game plan for the Texans. And just crowd the box. Do anything you can to make him throw. They refused to do it, and they lost the game because of it. So if you're not going to do that against the rookie quarterback making his first career start, they're not going to do that against the Eagles, who have a legitimately impressive passing offense. So Miles Sanders could run for 10 yards a carry in this game. So for plus money, getting him for plus money to score a touchdown, I think is a really, really awesome value. I actually would like to put 3/4 of a unit on this one. This is definitely my favorite play in terms of money risked. Now, another sportsbook that has me limited is, unfortunately, BetMGM. So I'd like to put 75 on this one. We'll see how much they let me get. 47.13, which is actually more than I thought. So for those of you at home, this should be 3/4 of a unit. I got 47.13, which is fine. It's close enough. So that's my favorite play on the Eagles. And now my kind of a little bit of a dart throw. Give me Devonta Smith. So my logic for this one. A.J. Brown just scored 3 touchdowns last week. Everybody's going to be in love with A.J. Brown. And he's great. I am not denying that for 1 second. But if you'll follow me here, the Eagles have been doing this all year. When one receiver has a really good game, more so when one receiver has a really bad game, the Eagles make it a point to target that player aggressively the next game. So week 1, A.J. Brown goes off, 10 catches, 150 yards. Devonta Smith goes catchless, does not receive a single catch. The next week, he gets 7 receptions. The following week after that, 10 for 150 in one or two touchdowns the following week. Then take week 5 against the Cardinals. A.J. Brown gets 3 catches on the opening drive, doesn't get a single catch the rest of the game. The next week, A.J. Brown almost gets 70 yards receiving, like 67, and a touchdown. So Devonta Smith only had 23, 25 receiving yards last game. I think they're going to give him the ball a ton. And the plus 180 odds, I think, is awesome value on DraftKings. Now, I can't use DraftKings. They have my account totally locked, not for limited purposes, but for like weird location issues. They have my account totally locked, so I can't even log in to DraftKings if I tried. But for those of you at home, I think that this is worth a half unit play on Devonta Smith anytime touchdown score plus 180 at DraftKings. So as you can see, account locked. But excuse me, look at the value here. Plus 130 at Tipico, plus 160 PointsBet and Caesars, plus 145 BetMGM. This plus 180 is a pretty good price for a play that I think has a lot of value. So this is my third one for the Eagles. My 3 favorite that I gave you in my ridiculous dart throw, don't put more than a quarter unit. How about Boston Scott at plus 500? He's the Eagles' backup running back. When the Eagles are in mop-up duty, they tend to give Boston Scott a lot of run, and he's had multiple games with multiple touchdowns. So the Eagles, they're winning by 31. Let's see. So the max to let me put on this one is 15. But like if the Eagles are winning by 30 in the fourth quarter, they put in all their backups, they'll still probably be able to successfully run the ball. It'll probably go to Boston Scott. So plus 500, I think, is pretty good value. I would recommend putting a quarter of a unit on it. I could only get 15. But look at the value again on this one. And this will be the last thing I mention. PointsBet at plus 500. Ridiculous. Plus 500. Across the board, 375, 330, 380, 320. Same exact bet. You're literally making the difference of like $170 if you're putting a unit on PointsBet at plus 500 or Tipico at plus 320. So those are my 5 picks total. 4 on the Eagles, 1 on the Texans. I'm sorry, Texans. I think this game is going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be gross. There's nobody I feel confident in aside from Damien Pierce. On the Eagles, I like Boston Scott as a dart throw. And then my 3 favorites, Devonta Smith, Jalen Hertz, and Miles Sanders. And that's it. So if you're tailing any of these touchdown bets, let me know. Would love to hear it. Go to OddsJam yourself. Line shop. Find your favorite value bets on any other games this week. But like I said, that's all I got. So enjoy the game tomorrow night or tonight and have a good one.